over here. Yo, what is it?
Look at those markings.
Hey, who's buried here?
Is that a cave?
What is it?
Oh. It is a cave.
Hey, I wouldn't go in there if I were you.
Shh, listen.
And the search continues here in the Southland for the 4 missing high school students from Malibu. Authorities are hoping that the contents of a video camera will help provide an explanation to the mysterious disappearance of the 4 teens reported missing.
7 years ago, 4 boys came up here and were never heard from again. Do you know what happened to them?
I think I'm picking something up.
Are you here with us now?
What was that? I can't see anything.
Boom, there you go. That was the trailer for Malibu Horror Story, arriving in theaters on October 20th. It's your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. I'm so excited, y'all, because I have the writer, director, SCOTT SLONE, to talk all things Malibu Horror Story. So you don't want to see me. You want to see this kind of crazy face and the guy behind it. Let me unpin myself right now. Going to shoot off air horns. It's going off right now, Scott. It's not on right now because I don't want to deafen you. It's in post. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, sir. So Malibu Horror Story. I am a horror fan. I'm dropping this interview. We're recording a little bit early on Friday the 13th. It's going to be crazy. We're all in that horror mood. How did Malibu Horror Story come apart? I know it's your first big full feature film. You've done a lot of short film work and you've been out here doing it, killing it in LA. And now you're giving us Malibu Horror Story. Tell me the birth, the seed that formed this over here.
Yeah, so I would say 2009 when Paranormal Activity came out in the movie theater. It was around October. It had been in festivals for about 2 years, but I didn't catch it till October when it released in 2009. And I saw it in the theater. I was very impressed. The audience was really spooked, and we could tell that it felt like Blair Witch. So anybody who had been around for Blair Witch, you can kind of tell it had that same feel. And so it started off as something very small and easy to kind of try to get something done cheaply. I'd been doing everything on film prior. So digital video just came out, like video cameras that were like decent. HD had just came out, believe it or not. It was like 1080p was like the thing. So basically we got a camera. We shot the first version. It was called Malevolent. And we pretty much had about a 65, 70-minute movie, but not a full-blown feature film. And then we took that around, we shopped it around, and people could see that we had something there. And so then we reshot it again with a little bit more money. And that was called the Malibu Tapes. And that was in 2012, 2013. And then that version was kind of, all 100% found footage. And it was really based off the fact that found footage movies were doing really well in the theater. The audiences wanted the whole nine. And then the saturation hit, and just they started coming out of left, everywhere, and everybody was getting tired of it and the shaky camera and stuff. And so we kind of got put on the shelf for a little bit and kind of had to go back to the drawing board because no one really wanted a found footage movie. After 2016, it kind of died. There was no more movies coming out in the theater found footage wise. And so we had to kind of go back to the drawing board and get a little creative with it and figure out a way to kind of serve the found footage to you, like kind of feed you differently. And so essentially ghost hunter shows, true crime, things like that started popping. And I took notice to that. And so basically the goal was, what if we put the found footage inside of like a ghost hunters show, kind of have a true crime element to it, and then put that inside of a traditional horror movie so that your average horror fan would also still like it. So it basically over the years has kind of shaped itself. Honestly, I can't really take full credit for how it came out because I was constantly playing the game and constantly trying to make it better for a broader audience.
Yo, I really dig that, man. I'm one of those guys, when I buy a Blu-ray DVD, I love checking out the bonus features, as a creative, as a filmmaker. You know what I'm saying? It's why I love the film industry. It's why we get into the industry, right? And you like those kind of quirks that make it, because we all know the hard work it is to present a film to the people. Thanks for sharing that, man. I love that. So this film we see here is I was trying to track on, there was the first part, then you reshot it. This is a bit of the second part, and then you got the opening with the paranormal stuff. Was the newer ish of it?
Yeah, so the Malibu Horror Story version that we shot in 2019, roughly, the version you're seeing now contains about 4 seconds of the original Malevolent. 4 seconds, literally 4 seconds of that. That's just freshman footage of the kids, because the kids really were that age back then.
Oh wow!
So I really had them at that age. It was kind of like that Linklater film Boyhood. I had these kids for 10 years, so I could really see them grow over time. So the 2019 version that we shot, the Malibu Horror Story, that only contains 4 seconds of Malevolent, and it contains about 35 minutes of the Malibu tapes. That's the actual found footage that's inside it. Everything else was shot new over the course of the last handful of years. Yeah.
That is super cool. All y'all independent filmmakers out there like myself out here trying to get things going, making things happen. This is called staying true to what you did and making it happen. This is a win here, Scott. I love that. That's awesome.
I appreciate it.
Man, amazing. So you put together this amazing project as Malibu Horror Story. Now it comes to its full Pokemon evolution, if you will. You got it rocking. You're now you put the script together. Well, everything's all set up. Take me back, I guess, because it was not just like a, pre-pro script, because this was, over time, there were so many evolutions to it. Talk to me about, as you're going through those evolutions. Let's start to, I guess, the first part, because the first part was the found footage part. Casting that and the actors you have there. And then that's also parts of Malevolent. And then we'll also get into kind of the pre-pro of then putting together, because like you said, there's phases where you had like the paranormals part. I'm curious on that end for the people watching that may have already seen this in festivals, but let me remind everybody, if you haven't seen it yet, October 20th, heading to theaters. I'm gonna have all the links in the description below. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, so thanks for that shot, by the way.
No worries,
With the original 4 kids, what we're calling the kids that are missing, the missing boys that are in the found footage portion of the film, that was kind of like an American Idol talent search kind of deal. We had this casting office out of Burbank, and the only requirement was that you couldn't have been in anything yet. You know what I mean? So we had you couldn't be recognized by anybody, and so we cast, I think with each one. So with it's Tommy, Vino, Jacob, and Hector, and basically we did some chemistry tests as well. So because a lot of that stuff is improvised, you know what I mean? A lot of that stuff is really these kids, and also, I got to hang out with these kids for a very long time. You know what I mean? We spent a lot of time together, just doing, crazy stuff. And so like, we kind of had all this footage. I mean, like when you talk about like behind the scenes stuff or like supplemental material, there's like 5 other movies that could be on this like Blu-ray DVD, there's tons of stuff, but these kids were legitimately cast back in, 2010, and they hung with me the whole time. Anytime I needed to reshoot, they kept coming and coming. But yeah, they were cast specifically that you did not recognize them. And then the newer kids, as we started getting it, kind of shaping the movie into what it is now, the newer kids kind of came as like friends of friends. So like Valentina and Robert Bailey and Dylan, they're either direct friends or friends of friends, Rebecca. So I put together another 4 people I trusted. So basically what it was is I had 4 people, originally people that I trusted, that I basically lived with for it felt like years, you know what I mean? And then another 4 people that I trusted. And so it's kind of easy when you trust, your actors in that way. And you also trust them. The improvising is not the easiest thing to do on camera. And especially when you're on a low budget, you don't have a whole lot of time. So, being able to know these people inside and out and then know their kind of character types really worked, especially for guys like Hector and Vino. Like I knew them really well. And so I knew that they were going to be just perfect because they were what they were, you know what I mean, at that time. So it was great.
Awesome, awesome, and they got to build with this as it progressed. Like they got to know, they knew their character more. I would say, right? They are a little bit more invested in it. With
100%,
delivered a
yeah.
greater performance, right? Yeah,
Yeah, because they're like a collection of all my friends growing up. Basically, these four kids are, so they're kind of drastically different in their own way, but they're all from like Malibu. So there's this, there's a thing with that as well. So
I love it. Bullet points for all you filmmakers out there. Again, there's some lessons to be learned in that, when you're selecting and trying to choose your cast and all that, making you look good. Let's also talk about the other people behind the camera that make you look good. Scott, your crew. How was that? Were there different sets of crew that you had along these different fields of the project?
Yeah. So like, as far as like the credits go, we might have one of the longest credit sequences in like independent film history, because it is. We couldn't decide if we were going to do the crew by years or if the crew by where we shot it. So like we have a Malibu crew, we have like the Bronson Canyon crew, because that's the cave we used, the Bat Cave, the OG Bat Cave below the Hollywood sign. So there was like, that was a crew from 2012. Some of those guys came back in 2019. So yeah, it was, there was a lot of people that are, my cinematographer is the same, of course, like all my key people were the same, but yeah, the crew changed, and and like I said, it wasn't just three. It seems like it's just 3 shoots. It wasn't just 3 shoots. It was about 30 shoots over a period of year. 3 big shoots, I would say, but a lot of just going out. I mean, I've got like 1 million interviews from 1 million people on the beaches out there, talking about their friends being missing. And you watch the final product, and I think there's 1 or 2 kids. That's it, that made the cut, and it's difficult. You know what I mean? When you're trying to, especially in this day and age, you want everything to be so fast and so like, you want to serve them quick and they want to get on to the next. So it's weird watching it, and knowing how much footage I actually have, how many, I could make 10 movies out of this movie, I think.
Amazing. All right, but it's a testament to the love for the project and seeing it through, man. Amazing. So you got a great cast, you got a great crew together through all the different phases. What was the production like? In different respects, was one part easier than the other? Were there certain aspects that you learned more, that you were then ready for like the next phase in like the construction of this? To just throw some love behind the scenes on Malibu Horror Story, October 20th, y'all.
Yeah. So basically, the tough parts were the cave. We basically lived in a cave forever. So one cave is out in Santa Clarita on a movie ranch called Blue Cloud. The other one, as I just said, is the OG Batman cave below the Hollywood sign. And those are the most difficult things, because this is pre-COVID. We had to all wear masks because you just couldn't breathe in the cave dust and stuff. And we're constantly kicking it around on purpose before we roll cameras to get that kind of look, and the glow sticks and things like that. So the cave was just the most difficult, but because we had done it so many times, we knew what to expect. But the weather sometimes played a part into it. But I would say mostly just when you're working on a tight budget, everything is just extremely stressful, and you just got to keep a level head and stay positive. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're the leader of the ship, like don't come off stressed. You got to kind of make sure that everybody understands that, like, hey, we're going to get through this one way or another. And as you can see, it's a testament, when you stick with the project. A lot of people would have dropped this film, a year in, 2 years in, 3 years in. This is a quarter of my life pretty much that I spent making this movie. And so, a lot of stresses, a lot of hard work. It's still hard work to this day. I'm still like exhausted right now. I barely get any sleep. So but it's that's independent filmmaking, and that's what it is. And it's like being in the NBA. I mean, you're going to play whether you're getting paid or not because you love it. So it's a situation like that.
Real talk right there, Scott. I'm right there with you. I'm glad you saw it through, man, to just keep on going for what you want, man. I love that. So kudos to you, my brother.
Appreciate it.
I had a chance to finally check it out coming up to prep for this. Amazing, dude. I see a lot of indie films, with the nature of the work I do and creating as well. One of the things I really enjoyed was just very professionally done, and now hearing that it was like a lot of different phases, cool that you were able to make it all mesh and work together like that. And I like that you kind of found a beat to it to make it all kind of like, look like it was all meant to be that way. That's dope. Some great jump scares, some great frightening moments. The practical effects, if you will. I like how a lot of the the ways it was shot, and then just the look of your baddie, or I don't want to give anything away. And how was some of that shot? And I gotta know, was whoever was in our creature, if you will, insane? Was that like somebody that used to work for Cirque du Soleil? I don't know. I'm like, is that real, or is that something that just Scott has in the closet at times to just let out?
Yeah, no. So that's real. That's Troy James. He's incredible, and he's scary stories to tell, Nightmare Alley. He's done all of like Hellboy, Guillermo del Toro stuff, and we used the practical effects team from them as well. They did the look on him as well. Yeah, yeah. So all that, contortion, everything you see there, he's contort. That's all real. We don't really have any visual effects in this movie at all, really. I mean, we couldn't really afford to do it. There's some compositing going down in this movie, but aside from that, it's all practical. For me, it's very hard to shoot visual effects because, not that I don't trust somebody else, but it's hard for me to know that, like, at the end of the day, I got what I need, because I don't get to see it until months later, and it's too late to reshoot it at that point. So, there's some amazing people, but when you can't afford a massive VFX team, you got to do the practicals. So yeah, we rode hard on practical. We got the best of the best, I felt. With both Doug Tate and with Troy James as both the creatures. And so we but again, indie, stressful days, you don't get those extra days. Big films, if you miss a day, it's okay, you can make it up. You can't really do that in independent filmmaking. So it was tough. But yeah, I'm very pleased with the way the practicals came out, and the fact that we don't really have much visual effects in the film.
Well, they killed it, man. That really got me. Like, how in the hell? I was just insane. You don't generally see that in an indie film like that creative, and looked good too, like in shot wise, in how it like played out while you're watching it. Well done, bravo. So I can see why when you started touring the festival circuit, you won so many awards. How has it been? You finally knock it out. This evolution, you're now on this promotional tour. You're talking to me. What has the rollout reception been thus far? And now again, everybody, October 20th, you can see it at home or in theaters very soon. How's it been? How are you feeling right now, Scott?
I mean, still tired, but feeling good. Feeling good that it's finally coming out. It's coming out, and the festival again. That's you can spend all this time making a movie, and then you spend a year and a half doing the festival things and trying to get out to as many festivals as you can, getting feedback, seeing what the audience thinks. Letting people see your film, do a review. Talk to just basic audience members about what they like, dislike. So you could learn a lot during the festival circuit. The reception's been very well for this film. We've been very lucky, and we did get to take home a lot of awards, and so it's just nice, I guess, now to just finally be able to have it come out. But it does feel like the work just never ends on a single. Like, I have another movie I just wrapped on, and it's like already like this movie just, it's like it's crazy. But again, I could not be happier, and very excited with the team that we have right now working on it. They're amazing, and they're really helping this thing get over the hump and get out there to as many theaters as possible.
There you go, Scott, man. You need it, man. You need to get those flowers, bro. You put a lot of work in. We're rewarding you now with the love, man. Come bring it. It's as filmmakers, it's our job to give that escapist entertainment for everybody that's, doing their day-to-days. So come get those flowers, brother. So Malibu Horror Story, again, everybody, October 20th. You're going to be seeing it very soon. For you, Scott, going along with the reception, I don't want to spoil how it ends, but people are going to ask, okay, so where do we go from here? You already stated you have another project you just wrapped. If you want to throw some shine on that or not, but people are going to clamor for the next projects. So do you want to talk anything about that? Or, if there's anything else we could go of love to, but again, everybody, Malibu Horror Story, October 20th.
Yeah, no, I'll just say that, there's a movie coming out. It's a slow burn folk horror, American folk horror film called Alone in the After. And then I'm starting a new movie in November called Astral Plane Drifter. But aside from that, it's really just been all day, every day Malibu right now. You know what I mean? Because like I said, people don't understand how difficult it is just to get a movie finished. You know what I mean? Just a feature film in general finished. And then once it's finished, you've got the festival thing. And then once that's done, you got the promotion, and then getting it out there is like, it's its own little thing already. It's like, it's a lot. And it's definitely like a job that like requires like your full attention, and you only have one shot basically. You know what I mean? It's coming out in theaters, so we really need everybody to go and see it opening weekend on October 20th. I'm hoping it's going to get to at least everybody's town, if not to like the major city closest to you. So we're trying everything we can to get this thing out there, and hope everybody goes and sees it opening weekend. That way it can stay in theaters for a couple weeks, and it can be a nice little Halloween movie. There's not a lot coming out in theaters this year, so we're kind of excited about it. Yeah.
You know, it kind of plays off into the indie filmmakers, favor right now. It's sad to say with, the strikes and everything, but, for you, man, you're right on time, I would say. It'll help. But I guess I'll be a little bit more direct. Is there a chance we can go back to Malibu? You got these 2 other projects, like you said, but could we possibly go back to Malibu? Would you like to go back to Malibu? See like where we could go from where this left off? Is there an idea?
So I will definitely say that I have a lot of making up to do for other films and other projects that have been put on hold for too long. I'll tell you that right now. But it is left open-ended, and we shall see. A movie has to be successful first, like successful financially, for you to get a sequel. And so we'll see what happens there. But also, I've said this in the past, I'm very open to somebody else coming up and maybe taking on the sequel, giving it just to a younger filmmaker, or any filmmaker who's coming up that has an idea for it as well. So I'm not against that.
All right. Well, thank you for answering that, Scott. Scott, a pleasure to chat with you, man. Good luck to you. Everybody, opening weekend. If it's in your theater nearby, go check it out. When it comes to on-demand digital, all the things, go check it out. Go support it. SCOTT SLONE, man, I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of independent casts. Y'all know, y'all watch me. This one is one of those that's going to be like, okay, you're going to get impressed. Scott, a pleasure chatting with you, man. As those other projects come along, I'd love to have you back, but wishing you all the best October 20th, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. Everybody, SCOTT SLONE. I'm going to have all of his links in the description below. Check out Malibu Horror Story when it arrives on October 20th. It's your boy, Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World.